One more Exodus question. Two more Exodus questions. Exodus 33 and 34. Really powerful moment. Moses is saying, God, pass before me.
Yeah,
But he's also saying, if you don't go with us, we're not going. Really powerful moment. And then the Lord proclaims his name there. Mm-hmm. So there's a few layers I'd love for you to unpack, okay? One is, why is God's presence so significant to Moses? And this is, Exodus, per you, is foundational for how we read the rest of the Bible. I'm thinking of, there's a psalm where the psalmist is lamenting after exile and says, they've trampled down your sanctuary. We have become like those over whom you never ruled. Yes. And so it's the departure of God's presence that made them lose their distinctiveness, and it's the arrival of God's presence that made them gain their distinctiveness, right? So I want you to comment on presence, but then this idea of the name of the Lord being proclaimed. What is that? Of course, this was your profound research, bearing God's name. You've been talking about this for decades. Unpack a couple of those.
Yeah, so let me tee it up by saying when Moses first encounters God at Mount Sinai, called Horeb, but same mountain, in chapter 3 and 4, he sees the bush that's on fire, that's not burning up, and he hears the voice of God and they interact. He says at that moment, God tries to commission him to go back to Egypt, and Moses says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh to bring your people out of Egypt? He's got his eyes on himself. And God says, I will be with you. And Moses is like, yeah, I don't really want to go. And he has 5 different excuses for why he shouldn't have to do this thing. And it doesn't even seem to register what God has just said. My presence will go with you. I will be with you. That's the only thing that matters. Fast forward to chapter 33. And Moses is concerned because the golden calf has just happened. The people have built an idol and worshiped it while he was up on the mountain getting the tabernacle instructions. So he's worried this whole thing might be off. Maybe we're not doing the covenant anymore. And God actually says, I probably shouldn't come with you to the promised land, because if I go with you, I might destroy you on the way. It's like the parent who's I can't be with you right now. I might say or do something I regret. And so Moses is very concerned, and the difference in his response to this possibility of not having God's presence is so profound. You can see how much he's changed since the beginning of the book. And he says, Lord, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. Moses is essentially saying, I would rather spend the rest of my life in the middle of an arid wilderness than leave here without you. Wow. He has discovered that the only thing worth having is the presence of God. That's the only thing that really matters. And I wonder how many of us are willing to say that. How many of us would say, Lord, if you don't go with me into this new endeavor, if you don't go with me into this new job, this move, this relationship, I don't want it. And I think until we're ready to say that, we're not actually fully walking in alignment with the Spirit. So Moses has come to the place where he's like, I just want more of you. That's the thing I want. And he says, Lord, show me your glory. I mean, he's already up on the mountain. He's already seen quite a lot of glory. Right. But he has this sense, there's more than what I've seen already. And he says, show me your glory. And the Lord says, well, okay, stand in this little cleft in the rock, and I'll cover you up with my hand. And after I pass by, I'll remove my hand and you can see my backside. Which I have a lot of questions about. So if that's your question, I don't know. Does God have a backside? Does God have a hand? Is God in a body? Right,
what is this?
I don't know. Yeah. Is this just anthropomorphic language, or is this saying something about the shape of God? In some sense, Moses can't bear the full weight of God's glory. It's like his human body can't handle it. It would burn the corneas of his eyes. And so God says, I'm going to let you see a bit of me. I know how much you can handle. And there's this really cool moment in the New Testament when Jesus goes up on a mountain with his 3 closest disciples, Peter, James, and John. And he's transfigured before their eyes. All of a sudden, they're on a mountain and they see him glorified. And then 2 guys show up, Moses and Elijah. These are the 2 men who also went to Mount Sinai. So remember, Elijah flees to Mount Sinai because he thinks it's all is lost. And he gets to experience something of God's presence on Mount Sinai, but only a piece of it. And it's like God says, all right, we're ready now because the Word is made flesh. He's tabernacled among us, and we have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only. Like, it's now that Jesus has taken on human flesh, we can handle seeing the glory. And so he brings back Moses and Elijah so that they can get the front side of God. I just love that. It's like, okay, guys, I know it's been a long wait, but I think you're ready now.
Jesus is the face of God.
Jesus is the face of God.